EA Sports FC is just around the corner, but before they go ahead and release the full game, EA likes to test the game. And that's why within August, they normally go ahead with a beta where they'll invite a very small amount of players as part of the community who are able to play the game early. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining everything that you need to know, as well as how you can increase your chances of being invited. But before we do get into the video, if you're looking to get some extra coins for FIFA 23 whilst players are cheap, then there is no better place than SkyCoach. SkyCoach offers cheap, fast and reliable FIFA 23 coins so that you can spend less time grinding and more time having fun with the players that you want to play with. All you need to do is select your platform, how many coins you want, and those coins will be deposited to your account. To make this even better, if you go and use the link in the description down below and use code FANATIC at checkout, you'll also get yourself a 10% discount.
Nice.
The EA Sports FC beta. It's going to play out fairly similar to what we have every single year because EA has a system that works and there's no need to change the system just because the name has changed. Not to mention that playtesting is a crucial part to any game. It goes through the iterative process. So we know that this is extremely likely to happen. Quite simply, during July and August, there will be invites to play EA Sports FC early. The reason that EA does this is so that they can get valuable feedback, which will help make changes before the final release in September. But even though you will be able to tell EA your thoughts and feelings with the game, you can't really tell anyone else because it comes under an NDA. You can tell people that you're playing the beta, but if you share any screenshots or gameplay, you will most likely be found out and you will be stripped of your access to the EA Sports FC beta. Likewise, if you talk about it publicly, there's a good chance that EA will strike it, take it down, and if they're able to track it back to your gamer tag for Xbox, PlayStation, whatever your ID is, they are unlikely to invite you ever again within the future. The rules can be very strict, but as long as you're following those rules, you will have no problems whatsoever. Now, this is where it somewhat gets more tricky because of course there are loads of people that would love to be able to play the next game, the next iteration, EA Sports FC, way before everyone else, and they would like to have their opinions count towards the final change, the final game which is going to be published in September. This is easier said than done, as EA has full control of who they're inviting, and they're ultra specific, not so much with a particular type of demographic or psychographic because they're going broad, but you have a very low chance of being invited to this. A common misconception is that only those which have played enough games throughout the year get invited to the beta. This is not true. See, the thing is, EA is not trying to create games which are only tailored to hardcore players. In fact, most game companies shouldn't go with that direction because it's a massive business problem. The second that those hardcore players get bored of the game because they've played through the content is also the second which the game ultimately dies. There's no fan base, there's no other players going through the game because it's not really tailored towards them. And EA has the exact same belief. They want anyone to be able to pick up and play and have fun, whilst also still being able to have those which are going to be coming back every single day to dedicate hours to the game. So with this, when it comes to their beta tests, they want to make sure that they're hitting as many different audiences as possible. Those which have played thousands of games across the different game modes will be invited, but also those that did only play FIFA 23 on day one and then never played it again have just as much of a chance for the beta invite for EA Sports FC. This is purely so that EA can get as much information as possible across the different audiences, demographics and psychographics so that ultimately they can try to provide the very best game for a broad audience and, well, ultimately make as much money as possible. Not just that, but depending on the game modes that you've interacted with the most in the time in which you've been playing will depend on what type of invite you get. See, when it comes to the beta, it's not just about everyone getting an invite to the full game. There are some people that are specifically selected because EA wants them to test out one game mode more than the other. So they may get a career mode invite, a pro clubs invite, or an ultimate team invite. It all depends on the game modes that they're really trying to push for that year and the type of audience that they think would suit that type of playstyle. Now, with all of that in mind, I'm sure that the question that you still have is, how do you qualify? And the honest answer is that there is no guaranteed way. But there is a way to increase your chances, or some things that you can do. Firstly, within your EA account, there is a section which will ask you if you want to be invited to play testing sessions. This always helps to have this turn on. Likewise, you also want to make sure that your account is up to date with the correct email address and you're open to EA sending emails to you about their products and services. If you have any of these turned off, you either have a lower chance or you're not going to have any invitations whatsoever, because you've already said that you will not accept any emails from EA. And not to mention that if you haven't got an up-to-date email address, well, there's a chance that EA could send you an invite, but you're never going to see it because it's not the correct one, or not one that you currently have access to. This has happened to many players in the past. They've wanted to go and get access to previous FIFA betas, complained that they weren't able to get access, only to realize after the whole event has ended that they did actually get invite access, but unfortunately they just did not check the right email. Another way that you can yet again increase your chances is to create multiple accounts. Now, there are actually some benefits to this a bit later on, which we'll talk about in a second. But with this, you can go and create as many accounts as possible on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever it is. And you can go through and play the different game modes. Now, typically, Ultimate Team being the most popular, based on how many players get invited to that game mode relative to the other game modes, you're going to have a much lower chance of actually being invited to the beta, purely because there are so many people playing. But yet again, it comes down to different audiences and different demographics and different psychographics. So you can go into Ultimate Team and you'll have your main account, which will hopefully have a couple hundred games, but you can start a new account and just play around about 10 to 15. Leave that account, start a new one, go into career mode so that you're starting something new, play a bit more, create a new one, go into Volta, play a bit, create a new account, go into pro clubs, and so on. Yeah, again, this doesn't guarantee, and if you want to go through all of this and not to be invited, well, yeah, it's definitely a crushing blow. But of course, this is something that you can do. And if you think, well, this is a complete waste, you're creating so many email addresses for you to go and create so many FIFA accounts across the various platforms in hopes to go and get a beta, only for you not to get invited, well, what was the point? Well, in terms of Ultimate Team, you're able to farm coins at the beginning of a new year. With all the promos and everything that they go through, even if you get untradeable rewards right at the beginning, you're able to go and use those into SBCs, and gradually you can start funneling coins out of that account to go into your main account, as long as you're not doing way too much right at the beginning, which of course will raise a red flag and EA might ban it. But if you do this correctly, there is a way in which you can really push yourself forward with an Ultimate Team if you're smart about it. Not to mention that you still have those accounts for the following year, which yet again means that you don't need to go through this whole process again in order for you to increase your chances of getting a beta code. Whilst we're on a subject of this, because there is so many people that's wanting to get in, there are times when an email gets sent out to someone to be invited, but for whatever reason, maybe they're on holiday or maybe they're just not interested, they don't go ahead and they do not actually download the beta to go and play through it. Instead, they try to sell their codes. But yet again, you need to remember that the account which is connected to your email address is the one that's going to be invited. So even though there will be people on the release of the beta, or when it starts during the whole time period, there will be people that will try to sell their beta codes when you can't actually use them, unless they give access to their full Xbox or PlayStation account, depending on the platform, which in most cases, most people do not do. And with this, I still advise not paying money to go and get a beta code because there's still no benefit. Yeah, sure, you're able to go and play EA Sports FC early, but nothing carries over. No matter what game mode that you go through, career mode, ultimate team, Volta, pro clubs, anything that you manage to achieve during the beta will not be there on the full release. I've been fortunate enough to be invited for the last 2-3 years. I can't actually remember how many times it's been, but during the beta, there are times when they will start gifting you icons, high rated rare gold players, pretty much the best of the best of the best. This happens within the final week or two. And this is purely done from a testing standpoint. Everyone would have a god team and you're able to try out some of the best players within game. This will help EA understand which players are completely overpowered, which ones aren't, which one needs to be nerfed, which one needs to be buffed. And if this did carry over to the full game's release, well, you've already put in a massive disadvantage to everyone else that wasn't invited to the beta. And there is nothing that they could do about it because the invitations are strictly done by EA. They're looking for specific people. So all in all, yeah, it's probably not worth spending money to go and play the beta because there is no real benefit. But other than that, this is absolutely everything you need to know about the EA Sports FC beta. Normally happens sometime within August, just 1 month before, a month and a half before the release of EA Sports FC, the full game. If you do have any questions, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.